What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here to rank every single Monday Night Football matchup of the 2021 NFL schedule, from the worst, least entertaining game to the most entertaining game of this year's NFL schedule. This is in my opinion, and there's a lot of different factors that can make up my opinion on what's the worst and what's the best, most anticipated game. It could be a rivalry, it could be an individual matchup, it could be the storylines. So before I give you my rankings of every Monday Night Football matchup from the least entertaining to the most entertaining, make sure that you do spike that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL rankings just like this, and spike that notification bell for the latest upload on the channel. The worst Monday Night Football game of the 2021 schedule is Week 2. The Detroit Lions head to Green Bay Lambeau Field to take on the Packers. Now, there's a number of reasons this is bad. The Lions stink. They are bad. They will have one of the top 3 picks in the draft, and I have without a doubt about it. Now, the Green Bay Packers are rather going to absolutely blow out the Lions here with their regular quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Or if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play, I mean, we're talking about Jordan Love taking on Jared Goff in what will be the absolute worst game in human history. So hopefully Rodgers suits up, because then at least we can watch him. But if he doesn't, this is a bad game, not just for Monday Night Football. The second worst Monday Night Football game of 2021 is the Chicago Bears versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. This one is week number 9 of this season. I don't like this game because I feel like it's going to be a really low-scoring defensive game that will probably feature a few turnovers, overall sloppy football. I don't think either of these teams are going to have great offenses, and I just don't see the excitement here. There's no real rivalry between these two teams. Okay, maybe Justin Fields by this time is the Bears quarterback, but I just don't see either of these teams as legitimate playoff threats. And again, this might be like under 20 points for both sides, so I'm just not digging it. At number 15, the Las Vegas Raiders host the Baltimore Ravens on the very first Monday Night Football game of this season. This game is probably not going to be very fun, even for Monday night, even for opening Monday night, because the Ravens will most likely throttle the Las Vegas Raiders in this game. Like, absolutely wreck them. That's the most likely situation. I could see a scenario, a game where the Raiders make it close because it's the opening game in Las Vegas. You know, the fans are rowdy. It's just a hostile environment. Of course, John Gruden in week 1 gets the fans going, gets the people going. But more often than not, this game ends with Lamar Jackson running and throwing all over the Raiders defense. At number 14, week 4, we have the Raiders again and the Chargers. Now, this game is kind of good. Like, I could see the excitement here because both offenses could put up points, and that's where the excitement could come. Okay, I get that. But I just don't think the Raiders are going to be good. Like, I know a lot of Raiders fans are mad at me right now because usually I'm pro Raiders, usually I'm positive, but with the offseason they've had, my degree of excitement for the Raiders has gone down and down and down with every move they make. With the Chargers, they're the Chargers. So, like, I could see them winning this game easily, but the Chargers never win games easily. So, again, this game will probably be pretty exciting. Number 13 is the Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. This game is week 15. The reason this is higher than the Raiders and the Chargers, even though you would think the Chargers and the Raiders, their play styles will be more exciting than the Bears and the Vikings, which is totally true, and I'll give you that point. But this game could actually mean something at the end of the day. Like, the Bears, there is a scenario where they're competing for a playoff spot, and the Vikings, I do think, are going to be competing for a playoff spot. So, being this game's in Chicago has played the Vikings very well. I could see an upset here with the Bears beating the Vikings and that hurting the Vikings' playoff chances. So I think this game will be better than people expect. At number 12, the Miami Dolphins at the New Orleans Saints. This is week 16, which is again a reason why it's a little higher than you would expect, because week 16, Miami is probably going to be in the race for an AFC wildcard, and I could see New Orleans in that race in the NFC as well. Plus, you throw in the fact that any game with Jameis Winston is 10 times more exciting. Plus, for BLVers, it's Turtle versus Durkant, so I like it. At number 11, the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. This is week number 3. This is going to be an indication of how good Dallas or Philadelphia is early in the season within their own division. Whenever the Eagles and Cowboys play, it's usually pretty exciting. It's pretty fun. There's a lot of points scored, which makes it inherently more entertaining. And by this time, Dallas may be in a rough spot. They play the Bucs and the Chargers. They might go 0-2 to start. So this would be a big game for them and a possible turning point for them. I just really like this. Monday Night Football with the NFC East is classic, and I can't get enough. Make sure you sign up to Underdog Fantasy today. Best ball is my favorite way to play fantasy football. No waivers, no trades, no problem. Follow the link in the description and use the code BLV to shoot your shot at Best Ball Mania and the grand prize of $1 million. I'll see you there. At number 10, the Buffalo Bills at the Tennessee Titans. This one is in week number 6. And this game happened last year with the whole weird rescheduling issue that they had, and Tennessee ended up blowing out Buffalo very surprisingly. These were two playoff teams from a year ago with contrasting styles. Tennessee wants to run the ball down your throat. Buffalo wants to air it out and air it out all over the field. Who is better at their game? And two teams that could potentially face off again in January. So, I like it. At number 9, the Seattle Seahawks at the Washington Football Team. This one is week number 12. I like this matchup a lot because I think Washington would fare pretty well on paper versus Seattle. Even though most people will probably pick Seattle in this game, Washington's front seven could give Russell Wilson and this offense a lot to deal with. William Jackson versus DK Metcalf will be a very fun matchup on the perimeter. So I could see this game going down to the wire, being a last possession game, and the ball is rather in the hands of Fitzpatrick or Wilson. So count me in for that. At number 8, the New Orleans Saints at the Seattle Seahawks. Again, the Seahawks on this list. Week number 7. Now, reason it's this high is because you're talking about the team that never plays a normal game, the Seattle Seahawks. They've never played a normal game in their franchise history. They face the player that has never played a normal game in his life, Jameis Winston. Honestly, this game should be number 1. At number 7, the Indianapolis Colts at the Baltimore Ravens. This is week 5. They both played very early last season, and it was an awesome strength versus strength matchup. We had the awesome Indianapolis Colts front seven taking on the awesome Lamar Jackson power run game. And that was just awesome to watch. The Colts, the Ravens, I think they have similar play styles that make things really competitive, down to the wire, interesting, entertaining. And Carson Wentz versus Martindale's chaotic defense could be disaster for the Colts, or it could just be really entertaining for the viewer. At number 6, the New York Giants at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is week number 8, and this is my for no good reason fabulous game of the year candidate. No idea why it's going to be. Maybe because Mahomes is Mahomes, maybe because Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill, maybe because Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce, or because Daniel Jones is just really fun. Saquon could break 2 80-yard touchdowns at any given moment. Kadarius Toney could break all of our ankles. So this game has a really good secondary versus a really good offense. We have a former Patriot coach taking on Andy Reid on that side of the ball, which is always a great matchup to watch schematically. And then you have that Chiefs defense with Tyrann Mathieu versus all the weaponry of the Giants. So like I just feel like this game, for no good reason, is going to be awesome. Entering the top 5. At number 5, and the reason it's in the top 5 is because of the stakes. It's the Rams, it's the Cardinals, it's an NFC West showdown. Week 14, late in the season, where it could mean everything to these two teams. This game is huge in the standings for the NFC and the NFC West. Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt, the two best defensive players of the last decade. Of course, you throw Chandler Jones in there. You throw Jalen Ramsey in there. You throw Stafford versus Kyler in there. You throw Cliff versus McVay in there. This is just a really good game that could mean a lot in this division. At number 4, the New York Giants at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, week number 11 of the 2021 NFL season. The reason this is a marquee matchup on Monday night is it's the Giants versus Tom Brady. Tell me where you've heard that before, but these games always seem to be good, including last year on Monday night, but the game was in New York. This was one of the sneaky best games on Monday night a year ago, where nobody really thought it would be competitive, but the Giants went down to the wire with this one. And I could see the same thing happening. I think the Giants have the weaponry to actually phase this Bucs defense that's really good up front, but they can be had in the back end. And then you have, of course, a defense with enough corners and enough secondary playmakers to be able to match up with Tom Brady's passing attack, and the size up front to not get run over by this big offensive line. So just from a football perspective, I think the Giants actually match up fairly well, better than most, versus the champs, which would make for a very entertaining game. And Daniel Jones played absolutely lights out last year, and if that happens again, they might even be able to upset the Bucs. At number 3, the Cleveland Browns versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, week number 17 of this season. The reason this game is so high, not only because this is an AFC North rivalry, and because this could mean something in this division and in this conference at the end of the day, this could be Ben Roethlisberger's very last game in Pittsburgh. And for me, somebody that's grown up with Ben Roethlisberger being that quarterback of the Steelers, his last game in Pittsburgh could be in this game. And I think it will be. So when projecting that, that's a big moment for me as a fan. And that's why I'll be invested in this game. That's why I'm looking forward to Ben's last game. The runner-up for the most anticipated game on Monday night in 2021 is the LA Rams at the San Francisco 49ers, week 10 of this season. I love Sean McVay versus Kyle Shanahan. It really doesn't get any better than that in terms of the coaching matchup, in terms of the X's and O's, and in terms of the familiarity of these teams and these schemes, which is always, for me, a football nerd, a great game. But you throw in Matthew Stafford into the mix, that is going to throw something different. Because Jared Goff was the biggest reason the Niners won those 2 games last year and swept the Rams. But you throw a legitimate top 10 quarterback into the mix, and how does that change things in this rivalry? How does that sway the power in this division? So these are 2 of the best teams, in my opinion, going into 2021 in the NFC. And 2 teams and 2 coaches that know each other very well. This game will be big and really, really entertaining. And the number 1 most anticipated Monday Night Football game of 2021 for me, as a biased Patriots fan, is New England taking on the Buffalo Bills. A lot of people expect the Bills to be an AFC contender, but not a lot of people expect the Patriots to be. But I think come week 13, they will have a very good record. And I think this will be a very important game that will determine who will be the winner of this division, quite possibly. And this is just an amazing matchup. You're talking about Josh Allen and their weaponry versus arguably the game's best pass defense with the best secondary, with the best defensive coach. So that matchup is awesome. And then you have Sean McDermott having this scheme for Cam Newton, this offense, this run game, these tight ends, and Josh McDaniels. The chess match between these 2 teams is at an all-time high. In my opinion, these are both top 5 AFC teams. The last time they played in Buffalo, it went down to the absolute wire with the fumble ending the game. Can Cam Newton get his revenge? Can the Patriots get their revenge this year? We'll have to see on Monday Night Football, but I know it will be a good game. Those are my Monday Night Football rankings from the worst matchup to the best matchup. Let me know your favorite matchup of 2021 in the comment section below. It's Mitch. Thanks for watching. Gronk, spike that like button. Gronk, spike that notification bell. Peace.